Alright, hello everybody. It's been a little while since I've made a video, and I remember telling some people in the Avengers League that I was just going to make a quick video, and so this is pretty much that quick video. So, well, it's probably not going to be quick, because there's a lot to go over. But there's been a lot of new things added, so I wanted to just go over those as much as I can and how they relate to the, say, like, last season's meta, because that's it's probably going to be about the same. So just so you guys know, of course I was still playing. Clearly, because I still have everybody in the game. 15, 15, 15. 14, so I'll get her soon. 15. And everybody else is 15. There's nobody else who isn't 15. Of course, I got the suit. I guess I can go over these guys really quick. I mean, I'm sure everybody realized that she's actually pretty good, especially with the finest hour team. She just kind of allows everybody to do that eventually. But I'll go over her a little bit later because I think some of the E-ISOs will help her. His counterattack is just murder. Like, if you get hit by that, you're gone. I don't understand why they thought that was okay. I still didn't like Nova very much. I'm sure he's probably okay. He's good for applying debuffs, but that's about it. Songbird we'll just have to see. I think she might be alright. This E-ISO helps her out a lot because she actually does do a lot of turns back to back to back, so she's going to need her stamina to stay up. And I actually, where is it? I ISO'd her. I guess you could see somewhere. Oh well. Every ISO has stamina on it. I got Robust and Masterful, so that's enough to keep her stamina high while she spams a whole bunch of stuff. And I think you've seen everybody else, because I'm sure you guys have seen a zillion Moon Dragons anyway. So here we go. So, the main thing is, if you look in the store, sites to load. Oh, I remember that. That used to be good. Okay, sorry, I actually didn't even look to see what they had in here. I don't want any of those. But if you look in the store, of course, when you look at the suits, it's a filter. You notice the flight suits are in here. Pretty much, I'm sure you guys have seen them. You go in them, you can't get out. You get a different set of skills. Your gear doesn't count no more. You know, it's probably not something you're gonna want to do the first turn. You're probably gonna want your agent to at least feel a little bit beat up, and then you'll be like, okay, well, let me swap out for a suit. You know, they have a separate health pool. You know, replace all your gear stuff. Blah blah blah. I imagine they still get your E-ISOs, and they have 2 E-ISO slots. So 2 slots is good. They're pretty much just going to be like their own heroes. So I wanted to go over them a little bit. So I wrote down a little bit because there's a lot to go over. But I took some notes, so I'll just be able to fly through this. So of course the first one, most of us will actually have this already. If you, well, by most of us, I mean if you you got Vibranium that season. Technically, I think what only was it top 5, top 3? I don't even know what the percentage is. I think it's top 5%. So 5% of us probably have that. So that's something. The infiltrator suit, each suit pretty much has like a kind of like a theme to it. So the infiltrator suit is about stealth and countering protects. So stealth, as you know, just goes around protects, but it also has the tools to beat out protects too. So you look through here and you notice that you have stealth for yourself with the ghost mode. Probably should have moved that over a little bit. Oh well. I'll read it out to you anyways. You get stealth from the ghost mode here, which is pretty good. And it has a chance to randomly get you that, but you'll probably just be stealth anyways because it's probably going to be a tactician. They're pretty decently in there. Combo breaker is really good because you can never go wrong with having a 60% combo breaker especially. One of the main things that this suit offers is it gives you team avoidance effects, which, you know, it's pretty good if you're not being hit by a bunch of psychic like we are now, and you're not dealing with a bunch of scrappers. And if you fight Spitfire, she's just gonna activate her thing and hit you anyway. So it's all right if the meta shifts away from that kind of thing, but as of right now, that's just not great. Um, it has lots of lockout effects, and there's quite a few people. I think Vision maybe might have been one of the people who works well with it, but I know for sure Winter Soldier does, because he has the Cold War. I think not Victor, Chase. Chase probably works pretty well with that. So that would be something to look into, because see here you can disable buffs, you can disable people's actions, disadvantage, stuff like that. And you can also abuse the exploit. So this exploit is pretty much designed to just hit whoever's tanking. So if it's like a rescue, this is going to blow rescue up immediately. Exploits protection, exploit shields, boon buster. So that will also do quite a bit of damage to a bruiser protect, which protect agent, because that's probably what you're going to see more than anything else. You may see oh jeez, you don't really see anything else now, do you? That's probably all you're really going to run into. But that's pretty much what this suit is about. So we'll move on to the next one. And like I said, everybody's going to have that one. I don't think that one is going to be terribly great, especially with the Vortex suit, 3 EISO slots, and applying combat reflexes to your entire team when you get it. I mean, come on, like, this is neat and everything, but I don't think really much compares to something that strong. You know what I mean? So the Scrapper suit is about countering evasion. so much for the Infiltrator suit. And using opportunity. So it's got this passive where you apply targeted, a chance to apply targeted. They don't list the chance here. When you attack an enemy and when an enemy attacks. So that's pretty dangerous. And when you think about it, I guess if you think about targeted, you might think about Hawkeye, because as you know, Hawkeye will just automatically shoot him if you still have that knocking EISO from a long time ago. Which, that's the best thing that ever happened to Hawkeye. So I hope you have it if you like him as a character. And your single target attacks gain Fatal Blow, which is really good. Targeted is just good all around. I mean, there's nobody who really can't use targeting, unless you're like an attrition-based team. But even then, if you have one exploit attrition person, they can use targeted and just kind of finish the job. But there's another suit for exploit attrition, so we'll just go over that when we get there. So it also comes with the one for all and all for one, which is pretty much like, the Berserk buff where you attack and you attack and then your teammates join in, or you get hit and your teammates join in. And that's somewhere here, yeah. And that's a quick action buff, but it does take quite a bit of energy. And it gives you afterburners, so it looks like you just get another, 2 turns. So that's pretty good. One of them with wind up, which probably you're going to be burning through your energy mad fast, is what it looks like. So this one looks like it'll probably literally run out of steam. But you'll be alright, because honestly, fights don't last that long. This one exploits opportunity, and this is good for Star-Lord. Because Star-Lord applies a lot of opportunity, and there's quite a few other people you can find, but pretty much any opportunity debuff you want, most of them are in here somewhere, like impaired, neutralized, cornered. Those are pretty much all you really need. And the fact that the exploit opportunity also has deadly crits and ignore defense, you're gonna crit probably, because if you touch them, they're targeted. So That's a pretty good setup. I'm looking through here and I'm actually a little concerned because I notice a lot of these are tech. So you may actually see people, if these suits take off, you may see them getting a lot of anti-tech stuff. They may even run Iron Man with his EISO that interrupts tech attacks. That's such a weird thing to interrupt, but that's something. That's cool, I guess. So the Bruiser, of course, is the protect and damage resistance. Who wouldn't have seen that coming? It's immune to fatal blow. It takes reduced damage overall, and it's critical hit resistance, and it's unexploitable. So all of that pretty much makes it so this is pretty much the toughest thing you could ever put yourself in. You're not going to get hurt. Pretty much. I mean, that's how it works. So the other parts of this, it's strong with the damage debuffs. So if you look through here, you got the subdue and the restrain. And those pretty much are just going to knock out people's damage potential by a lot. Hopefully, when you fight them, they're all the same damage type, and none of these are stealthy or subtle or anything like that. So, you know, if they have a protect, they can just block this and just be the only one debuffed. But it does come with, you know, some stun and some debuffs, melt armor, stuff like that. So that stuff is pretty useful. But the main thing that you got to watch out for on this one is the fact that you can give your team unyielding, which is pretty much you're unexploitable. You can get covered on everybody, and you can get a shield on yourself. So you'll be protecting, but if any attacks slip through, you can't exploit in 50% damage. So it's pretty much like this is a really annoying version of Colossus. An extremely annoying version of Colossus that also has a Paragon Exploiter with Shield Slam. Because why not? But that's a ground attack that apparently hits flying targets. I don't understand why they even made it a ground attack if that's the case. But okay. Whatever. The blaster suit. Oh, so I guess I'll just give my brief understanding of how it's going to work. I think this suit is going to be mainly not useful for the protect, really, because, you know, like I said, too much stealthy, too much psychic. But I do think it will be useful for the damage reduction, because even a blaster is going to struggle if you can't be exploited and you're taking 50% less damage and you have a shield. Even they're going to have a problem getting through that. So I think that's actually going to be really helpful, and if you put restrain on a blaster, honestly, it looks like this suit will just make it so you're just not going to be damageable. And because it's Bruiser, of course you're going to put Bruiser Elite, and then, you know, there are 2 slots, so you put something else on really nice, and we'll go through some of those EISOs later. It's going to give you a lot of options for a very, very durable team. And honestly, with the way this one works, you know, some of them I was thinking maybe you kind of want to get beat up a little bit and then swap. This one I'd almost say just go ahead and swap as soon as you start, because you don't want to die before you get a chance to swap or anything like that. So the blaster suit is your suit that you get for countering avoidance effects and attrition. So it has a chance to actually not use power, which is kind of cool. Everything has Ethereal Strike, or a chance to gain Ethereal Strike, it says. And you can self-destruct either manually or automatically. Why you would do it automatically is beyond me. I mean, that just seems kind of like a weird choice. I don't want to just kill myself. But okay. Whatever. So the damage potential on this is pretty high. It's got a lot of attrition attached to it. It's got pretty much, if you remember the sudden support, it's got something like that attached to it. And it also gives you all your stamina back. So this is pretty much what's going to let you just kind of try to blow people up. It also grants you rising up, but your next attack drains double the power. And they only go up to 100% power, so you gotta kind of keep an eye on that when you're using these suits. Oh, this is another skill that was kind of important because if you look here, here's some. It's pretty much a debuff stack right here. It's kind of like that missile that you get from Red Hulk, except it also applies endemic on top of that on an AoE, which is kind of silly. But also notice there's no stealthy there, so it can be ignored. So be careful. Then you look here, and this is pretty much your. This one is catastrophic. So if you run an exploit attrition team, this is pretty much where you want to go because you'll have that. You also get finest hour, but notice this takes a lot of energy, and if you recharge or use that, what's it called, red chrono shift effect, sorry, and then you use this, that's 100% of your power. You're done. You have to recharge, but this is pretty much what you're gonna do, I guess, when you're trying to actually kill them. I think this suit probably will be a pretty good choice because if you look here, you got overexposure, which puts a lot of radiation on. You get chaos shot, block on, extra damage on your range. I mean, it's got a lot of things that you actually do want. So I think this suit will probably be a pretty good choice. That and bruisers are still popular in the meta. They probably always will be thanks to the Bruiser Elite. I would highly consider this one as a good choice. It's probably the best one so far that we've looked through, to be honest. And then I think honestly the rest of them are better than the. I think the last three are better than the first three. So when we get to the Tactician armor, this one is based on pretty much just taking a lot of turns and supporting your team. So it has the ability to remove buffs and apply flanked. And if you look through here, a lot of the skills on here actually, boost your teammates' next attack. So there's a perfect shot, and then they have toe-to-toe for melee. So you can do both of those, so that's really good. There's an AoE fear effect on a quick action, and this one has a lot of ability to be, taking extra turns with quick actions, because it has 2 quick actions on it. Pretty much this is going to make it so your team probably won't get hit, but if you're against the worthies, all of this doesn't count. Like, you can't poison the worthies. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can't poison them. You can't intimidate them, no fear. Can't cower them, no fear. Can't broken will, no fear. So this will pretty much only work against people who aren't worthies. And that honestly kind of sucks. But this is okay. Disadvantage with hobbled and staggered. You notice this one isn't terribly strong in the offense department because other than this skill, which is just shooting them, and this skill, which I guess is throwing a gizmo, it's not a whole bunch of attacks. However, this is pretty good. I mean, rising up, heal over time, stamina over time, heal, shield, all in one skill. So pretty much this is like your super healing suit. Which I think the healing and shielding itself is the main thing you're going to get out of this. And it's also going to be buffing your teammates' damage and removing buffs. I mean, that's okay. If you really just need the support on your team, really, really bad, this is pretty much the most support-oriented tech armor you're going to find. And that's not a bad thing. But the whole thing about this is what really bothers me the most. Is you're just going to run into worthies and you're going to be upset. Oh, speaking of worthies, 2 more are coming out soon. They're not going to be affected by any of that either. You're going to have Ghost Rider, and Black Knight. And last, and what seems to be the favorite of everybody in the forums and the Avengers League so far, is the Generalist flight suit, which is the one I'm probably going to buy. Being a Generalist is good anyways, and this suit is all about finest hour in supporting your team. So you get in it and it heals your team and applies morale boost to everybody. So you don't need the morale boost E-ISO. Wonderful. When I go over the E-ISOs, you'll see that this is actually pretty powerful because there's a little extra going on that I'll tell you about with the E-ISOs because there's lots of them that have been added. Gives adrenaline to all people after all other allies after attacking, and pretty much adrenaline is the buff that Punisher has in his blaster form when he does his flamethrower, and I think there's another item somewhere in the game that has it, but it's just pretty much a stacking damage buff. It's removable last time I checked, so it's nothing like bounding that you get on Union Jack. And you gain power every round. So that's good, because the rest of them, the only other one that has any sort of power conservation is the blaster one, and it's just a chance for that. The rest of them, you know, you just kind of have to recharge. Kind of sucks. But the main things about this one is that this is what you're going to want to do for finest hour in Paragon setups. So if you look through here, this skill is pretty much like what you get out of, oh, what's his face? Blue Marvel. Except it gives finest hour to anybody on your team. Everyone gets it. That's actually pretty strong. Because just take somebody like Spitfire who does too much damage and just give her finest hour. Or even somebody who's not even that strong, like Doctor Strange. That would be pretty strong. I think that's actually the main thing that makes this suit really good, and this only takes 10, and you get it every 3 rounds. I think let me look at the Tactician. Yeah, you get this every round, so that's where the trade-off is. But you have to bring your power back. But since it's a quick action, you can power and then. You can activate this and then do your power, so you can kind of work it out like that. Although this just generates power on its own. But notice this is not a quick action, so you know, it's got some disadvantage somewhere. But you look here, and this offers you Purged and all the Paragon Exploiter debuffs. That's pretty powerful. As you know, if you run anybody who's really good with Paragon Exploiter, like Winter Soldier, and I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head that people are actually using, but I'm sure you could find somebody. I mean, this, you know, it applies it to the whole team, but it doesn't look like it's something that can be that's unblockable because it's not subtle. So, be careful. Make sure there's no protects out there. This is also pretty silly because it increases your healing effect. And then, you know, immune to endemic, manipulated, paradise loss, and despair. Because apparently they really like doing that. And those are the main reasons why I think people are choosing this suit. The first attack, it just has coordinated attack and epiphany. You know, that's kind of cool. Everybody's gonna crit. But this, as you see, it's pretty much everything else is just support oriented. So go for it. But alright, so hopefully I didn't go on too long. I sure did. So this is League of Legends. Sorry, wrong game. Alright, I'll try to make this quick because I don't want to hold y'all here forever. Actually, I'll just split it up into 2 videos. So, we're stopping here and then I'm just going to start over.